And happy Friday, everyone. And to some, it's also happy Good Friday. And welcome to Mariners Baseball. We've got the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays, the place that Cal Raleigh loves to play. So him and Torpedo Bat will have a lot of work to do. Hopefully they do a lot of work. But Mariners are coming off of a very thrilling series against the Cincinnati Reds, including the third game, which just happened just over 24 hours ago. And the funny thing is, that game actually cost me $250 because when it was 5-3, I was like, yeah, there's no way the Mariners are going to hold that lead. So it was like $25 to win $250. I was like, you know what? I'll take that. And it seemed that I was right. People are calling me a genius. And the comments are like, man, Rooftop, you're such a genius. And it looks like you are going to win because Fraley hit that grand slam. Like, the momentum's gone. Like, who's going to think that they're going to catch up with a 2-run deficit in the ninth inning? Usually that's when the Mariners are like, nah, I'm done. Oh, and then Torpedo Boy hits a home run and Poser Boy hits a home run. And I go, nah, they have the bottom of the ninth inning. They're not. Top of the 10th inning. Then J.P. Crawford happened, and then Rosarena happened, and next thing I know, I don't have my $250. But you know what? What we do have is we have a 2 out of 3 for the Mariners beating the Cincinnati Reds. So I'll take it. But Trident, how are you?
Doing well. I got to say, you little do the Mariners know that you got them that win yesterday. Had you not made that bet, there is no way they come back in that ninth inning and win the game. But I actually had a buddy that used to do that strategy. He was a Cubs fan, and he would always bet against the Cubs, and he bet against them when they lost to the Marlins, the Bartman game. And he was like, it was the only way to I looked at it, I was either going to get money or my team was going to win. So either way, I'd be happy at the end of each game. So it's not like the worst strategy ever to bet against your team. I've thought about doing it actually at times.
Maybe Bartman is just not looking for the right crowd. He should find the crowd that actually profited off of him. At least he'll have friends there, but understandably, Steve Bartman's the no camera in my face guy. Like, if he had the Randy Johnson personality, he'd be like, no cameras, because we remember about Steve Bartman. He was offered everything, like money, endorsements, and he was like, nope, leave me out of it. But anyways, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's because I always felt so bad for that guy.
I do too. Oh, yeah, so Mariners are playing, and then got to look at the lineup and see where that lineup is at, because this Blue Jays series is not going to be an easy one, but strangely enough, they say the Mariners are the favorite to win. But here's the lineup. Julio Rodriguez, DH, Jorge Polanco, Cal Raleigh, Randy Rosarena, Luke Raley. I like the first 5. And then we get Rowdy Tellez, Miles Mastroboni. Now, before people make fun of him because he has a funny name, he is batting .292, and he doesn't strike out much, so he still gets on base. So he's actually the money ball pickup for now, at least. Ben Williamson and J.P. Crawford. Aside from the Rowdy Tellez, I actually don't hate this lineup, but my crazy idea is this. I think maybe Mastroboni should be a leadoff hitter because he doesn't strike out much. And let's see if the low strikeouts, at least at this first inning, might help out, because Julio is a very erratic player. Like, it's either he hits it or he whiffs it badly.
Yeah, no real in between for Julio. But yeah, the lineup's actually been playing pretty well. The Mariners offense, especially for April, what we normally see is, they're putting up runs, that their walk rate is really high. They're not striking out nearly as much as they did last season. They're always going to be high in strikeouts. I think they're still have the 11th most strikeouts in baseball. But I mean, how many times last year did we say just don't be on pace to set a record, and that will be okay? So the offense has been pretty good. Ben Williamson has held his own in 3 games. Cal's on a tear. Randy's crushing it. First base has been a bit of a black hole, but hopefully you can get something going from Tellez and Solano. And then I'm with you. Julio has been erratic, but it's probably been his best April so far, I guess. So, and Polanco's crushing it. So, been pretty happy with the offense so far. I can't really complain about what they've done through 19 games.
I can't either. but now you got me curious. Now I want to see what their April numbers were for Julio Rodriguez, because we know in 22 it was pretty bad, and some would say it was suppressed by the umpire. He batted 206 with a 284 OBP as we have the game underway, so I better do this quickly. 2023 was what I thought was his best April of his career. He batted 239, 301, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. That still sounds like his best. And then 24, I think it was atrocious. 24, it was 256 and 298. That's just a weird split. And then 1 home run, 11 RBI. So that's obviously not his best. And now 25, he is at 3 home runs and 187 to 307. Like, those are just strange splits. Like, I think Rosarena's is really weird. I think I saw like 187, but he has like a 340 OBP.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, he's leads the AL in walks, I think. Randy does. He has 16 walks. And it's just part of those early season numbers when, like, everybody, even as much as, Rowdy Tellez has struggled. If he goes 4 for 4 today, his OPS is probably like 790. So you're still getting a lot of like variance with the numbers. So I think that's why you get some of these weird low batting averages, but high slugging, stuff like that early on. It'll even out a little bit.
And I did look at Rosarena's numbers. He's a 212 with a 381. And surprisingly, us Mariner fans actually might take that, because if his OBP is close to 400, yeah, he's batting 212. But if he's making it up with walks there and there, then I guess I can work with that, as long as he builds upon that.
Before first pitch, did you realize JP's on base percentage is almost 400? Like, I'm not saying you specifically, but I was looking at it yesterday. I'm like, JP's actually, the slugging hasn't been there, but he's actually getting on base pretty well.
391 because he walks a lot.
Yeah. Hey, if you're not going to get hits, might as well get walks. So better than nothing.
Or just if you have a really strong elbow pad, step into it. Yeah. That's why I said strong elbow pad, because I can understand how much you don't want to get hit by a 90 plus. And I know us fans are like, come on, take it for the team. But then you get a counter question like, have you been hit by a 95 plus? It hurts just to get hit by a 40 mile an hour.
I was going to say 50 leaves a bruise.
100 is like, or think about when Edgar Martinez got hit in the head in the All-Star game by Jason Schmidt. That was like a holy crap moment. And the ball was so fast that his helmet cracked.
Yeah, think about that. Like, that's how fast it is. It's crack, it can do that. So just wild, but hopefully a W today for the boys. It's gonna be a tough one because the pen's a little thin today. Probably no Munoz. So let's see if Woo's on his game and get a dub.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that before Julio gets up. I did, unfortunately, as much as I was so excited about that victory, I didn't exactly like all the decisions that Dan Wilson made. The ones I pointed out, red flag. Pulled out Emerson Hancock after 73 pitches. Sure, he looked shaky at times, but he found a way to make a pitch to put the defense in position to make good plays. And then the Trent Thornton pulling out for Eduardo Bazardo was like, huh? Kind of decision. So that's why our bullpen is a bit thinned out, because of 1 or 2 bad decisions. But hopefully Brian Wu is going to, that's why Brian Wu is going to have a really good outing, as we are going into the first pitch, brought to you by SeatGeek. You see that promo code right there, the pitch. And that is inside for a ball, and we are underway. And as much as I complain about having me to spend $10 on Apple TV, the visuals is just beautiful, because when I use the Root Sports one, it's garbage. So I got to give Apple credit to that for sure. At least they strive on quality. And now the pitch, and that is inside for a ball. But the other joke about Apple is they always do things late, but at least when they do things late, at least the quality is there, I guess. As we're at 2-0 for Julio Rodriguez. And here is going to be the 2-0 pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to shortstop Bichette, and the throw to first in time. It had a good exit velocity, but Bichette just happened to be there, and now we've got one out. Bo Bichette is actually improving. He's batting .305 this season. So the Blue Jays have a pretty solid lean. They have a pretty solid lineup, so it's not going to be easy. And I know it's unreasonable for me to say, but considering that the Mariners will be playing Boston next week before we get back to home for Miami, I do want to sweep. I know that's a lot to ask, but I still want the sweep, because at least it can make up for what could happen in Boston because I looked at the Mariners' win record in Fenway. It's really, really bad. The pitch to Polanco, up high for a ball.
I'll take 3-3 the rest of the road trip. Just get me 3 wins. If they're all in Toronto, great. 2 here, 1 Boston. Get back to Miami 3-3, and I will be more than happy.
Yeah, I can't blame me for, I can see where you're coming from, but I'm the expectations freak guy. I'm like, nope, sweep them to make up.
I would love it.
The Cubs game, did not see the Cubs game.
Oh, that was crazy.
The pitch to Polanco. And now here's a ground ball right to first base. And that's out. And I think that was Vlad Jr. And he looks kind of big.
Yeah, he's gotten bigger over the years. But to sum up the Cubs game, it was 7-1 going to the 8th. The Cubs had a 5-run bottom in the 7th. Diamondbacks had a 10-run top of the 8th. And then the Cubs had a 6-run bottom of the 8th and won 13-11.
Who would
Gino had a grand slam.
He's on my team.
Good. He just saved it for this week.
One? Yeah, he probably did. The pitch to Cal Raleigh. And this is Cal Raleigh's time to hit a home run because it's 2 outs and you usually dominate in Toronto. He's batting .216 with 8 home runs thanks to that torpedo bat. He's actually second in home run. And now the pitch. And you actually won't believe that that's high for a ball. You actually won't believe who is actually the leader in home runs this season.
Tyler Soderstrom.
Of the homeless A's. So, you know what? I'm happy for the A's that they get to. I'm happy for any of the A's fans. Now the pitch, that is outside for a ball. It's good to see them that there is some kind of hope for them, at least baseball-wise, which is why the Mariners have to, I would say they have to win a World Series before they go to Vegas, because when it's Vegas, you know that John Fisher is going to go. Either maybe he'll stay cheap like Stanton, or he'll maybe show something he never showed in Oakland. As we got Cal Raleigh 3-0, and that's a strike. And even if it was outside the box, you knew the umpire wasn't going to just hand that to him. As we are at 3-1, Cal Raleigh has 6 home runs in his last 6 games. Power-wise, he's been on fire. And now we are at 3-1. The clock is going down, and now the pitch. And that's a strike. And if you saw that clock, it froze at 2 seconds. So I question that.
Well, home cooking on the clock.
Yeah, that clock did not do, unless Apple was off and it froze for a moment. So maybe excuse me for saying the quality of the Apple company, just like how much I was talking about Mitch Haniger's fielding of last season, which did not age well. As we are at the pitch, and that's a foul ball. And you can tell that Cal Raleigh really wants to get that home run so he can tie Tyler Soderstrom. Reesby says they should win 4 of 5 at least against the Angels and Marlins. Well, You'd be surprised how they do against those kind of teams.
But I agree with his point, though. If they can go 3-3 the rest of these 6 games, they get home over 500. I'm with you. You never know. And even the Marlins, you run to Alcantara, but should set up pretty well if they can get back home over 500 in the next homestand. So I do agree with Reesby's point there.
And they're playing a somewhat healthy Angels team. Yes, they've lost 4 in a row, but things can change really quickly. Clock is going down again. And where's the pitch clock violation? The pitch. And now here's a fly ball and fouled.
Thought he had it for a second.
I always want to see the statistic. Like, what's the Mariners' batting average when they almost hit a home run, but it's fouled? I want to know what that is. And I don't even think there's a stat available for that, as we're looking at 3-2. And that clock is just absolutely broken. It freezes at 2 seconds to pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the first. It was an easy 1-2-3 inning for Toronto. And we will be back, I guess, after these messages. And actually, after I show you some of the cool pictures that I asked AI to generate for me. I think you've already seen all of them. Here is, yep, there's that. There's my signature YouTube channel thing. Yeah, I kind of look, that's like me if I actually did commit to working out more than I do. There's my fantasy basketball champion from 2011 to 2012. That was our inaugural basketball season. That's my favorite one, the baseball champion. I'll be bragging about that for a long time, at least for this season, where let's say you defeat me, I go, well, at least I'm 2024 fantasy baseball champion. Then we got, that's the same thing. This one was my 2022 fantasy football champion, where I won by 0.1, believe it or not.
I love the t-shirt. Welcome to 1.
I didn't even pay attention to that. I didn't care because I was just too distracted by everything else. So first inning is going to be Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr., and Anthony Santander. That's a pretty loaded front three, if you ask me. Like Santander coming out of Baltimore, like Guerrero, exactly. He's Guerrero. And then just to add more, there's Jimenez, there's George Springer. So this is actually a pretty a load-heavy offense that the Mariners will have to deal with, especially in a hitters-friendly ballpark in Toronto.
The Blue Jays and Mariners always kind of remind me of each other. They are two fan bases that always, and they're probably right, but like that always think their front office didn't quite do enough to get them over the top. You know, never a bad team, but like always seems like one or two steps or pieces away from being really good. Just these teams always just remind me of each other. I think the fan bases are both kind of have that same mindset with their teams. I could be wrong in that, but it's always feel like there are brothers to the north a little bit.
Yeah, but the only differential is they have the 2 World Series champions.
Oh yeah. I just mean now, kind of like how they've been.
Sure.
But yeah.
And we are back from the break, and this is going to be Brian Wu. He's 2-0 with a 2.84 ERA. Some will say that he's probably the more consistent starter. Now the pitch, and that is low for a ball. And this is Bo Bichette up to the plate. Bo Bichette, who had a very struggling season last season, but he's off to a good start. 305, no home runs, but 11 RBIs. So he is still very effective. And now the pitch, and that is outside for a ball again, and that's going to be a 2-0 count. Mariners made sure that they had their rotation, like the best possible rotation for themselves. I think it's Wu, Gilbert, if I'm correct, and Luis Castillo. Yep. And now the 2-0 pitch. And that is a strike this time. And good framing job by Cal Raleigh.
Yep.
Brian Wu, probably one of the more, I know I said, probably one of the more consistent pitchers out of our starting rotation. Mariners are trying to do what they can with George Kirby still out. Also, not to mention, now the pitch. No, that's a foul ball. Got him to strike 2. And one of the sad stories that we saw was Troy Taylor strangely got sent down in favor of Casey Lawrence. And some are probably saying that maybe Troy Taylor wasn't exactly ready, which is why he was pitching uncharacteristically, which is why I made the joke of like, and now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And Bo Bichette gets on base with a single, and that will bring up Vlad Guerrero Jr. So the joke I was saying was, so let's knee-jerk send down Troy Taylor after one bad outing. But, let's keep Edward Bizardo because I don't know. And he's had multiple issues.
Problem is Bizardo's out of options, so you'd have to DFA him. So I think it just was a numbers game to get their arm down there.
Here's Vlad Guerrero Jr. And now the pitch. And now here is a throw to second, not even close. And I can see what your reaction was about.
Sorry.
Now we got man on second base, and Cal Raleigh didn't really have much of a chance to get him out. Yeah, he had a really good jump.
Yeah, no chance there.
0 chance. Even if he threw it perfectly, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
And now the pitch to Guerrero, and that is right in there for a strike, and that's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Blue Jays are the second best in the American League with stolen base percentage, believe it or not, since 2024. And now we're at 1-1.
It's going to be a tough game for the Mariners. You know, playing that marathon yesterday, the Blue Jays were off yesterday. So the scheduling god's not doing the Mariners many favors here. This is going to be a tough one. This kind of feels like a loss. So let's see if they can steal one a little bit here.
Yeah, that's why I said they're going to have to do what they can in this series to offset against Boston. Now the 2-1. It's a ground ball, and that is going to be bobbled by Tellez, but the toss over the first, and that is in time to get Guerrero, but that will advance Bo Bichette to third base, and you kind of wonder if Tellez actually fielded that, would that have moved Bichette anyway? And it looked like it did because he was already in the motion.
But thank,
But I
thank, thank goodness not a speedster running there. That would have been a disaster. Luckily,
that would have
Vlad
been a
Jr. not
mess.
exactly getting down the line super fast, but got to be better there.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how long he's really going to last with the Mariners. And now we got Anthony Santander. And now here's a fly ball to the left field. And Rosarena makes the catch. Is tagging at third is Bo Bichette. And the throw to the plate, not even throwing to the plate, goes to J.P. Crawford. And the Blue Jays get on the board to make it 1-0. You had a single by Bo Bichette. He stole second, got to third base. And then Anthony Santander did exactly what he needed to do to get their first run.
Isn't baseball fun? Like, just look at how they scored. I mean, I'm not taking away if any Blue Jays fans watch this. Bichette just kind of snuck one through the hole, right? Probably wasn't hit very hard. Stole second, ground out, sac fly. And Brian Woo's probably sitting there going, how am I down 1-0 right now? I didn't even do anything wrong.
and then you saw Randy Rosarena not really showing much urgency. Like, he was just lackadaisical.
Yeah, I mean, which if there's a runner at first, fine, but there's nobody else on base, just chuck it home and see what happens.
And he didn't even do that, which is very concerning. And this is Andres Jimenez. And now the 0-1 pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field, but Julio's going to be there. And he makes the catch. And that's going to retire the side. To best describe that inning, Bo Bichette pretty much carried that inning. I mean, he did exactly what I do in softball is I run any chance I can get when I'm on base. So Bichette did exactly what he had to do. Credit to him. But Randy Rosarena, I know Randy Rosarena wouldn't have gotten him out, but it was still disappointing to just see him going. He pretty much gave up as soon as he caught the ball.
It reminded me, remember last year, Luis Robert had that fly ball in center that he had no chance to get the runner, but he caught it and it was to end the game and he just kind of stood there. And it's like, just, I can understand if there's runners on base somewhere else, like, hey, chuck it in. But, just, throw it home. I mean, there was nobody else on base. If you mail the throw in and it goes over, who cares? It's not going to change anything. So I will say this, it was hit at kind of a weird angle. He didn't really get a chance to get his feet under him. But yeah, like at least, I don't know, feels like he at least chuck it home. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Bichette like steps on a pebble and slips, it's, you never know what can happen.
Yeah. Now I wanted to talk about Emerson Hancock, and it seems that that performance may have, not saying it saved this season, but it gave him another air of light because he did pitch pretty well against Cincinnati. Now, did he pitch his lights out? No, of course not. He gave up some hits that could have gone either way, but he pitched himself into a position where the defense can make plays for him. Cal Raleigh threw out Jake Fraley. He pitched into a double play for Ellie De La Cruz. And the other thing I'm starting to understand about Emerson Hancock, I looked up his history. He had 2 critical injuries, one during 2020 and 21. And now I can understand where I think he was a hyped prospect where he had a 97 to 99. And now you see that velocity where it maybe goes to 96. So I think that's where those 2 injuries may have killed, not saying killed his career, but it has made it difficult for him. And I did see the numbers. It was pretty relevant in the timing with the injuries because his first time in the minors, he was actually pitching well. And then once those injuries happened, he was like a maybe 3.75 ERA guy.
Yeah, but it was good to see him throw well yesterday. And that 5th spot has been such a black hole for this team. And it was really positive to see. But the biggest takeaway is, my gosh, hurry back, George Kirby.
Yes, George Kirby, hurry back. And until then, as we got Randy Rosarena up to the plate, now the pitch. Now here's a liner right to Bichette.
I had the same reaction. I was like, oh, here he is. Never mind.
And we've got next batter. So, yeah, what I was saying about Emerson Hancock, the thing that he really can work on, he can work on his sweepers. I think his best pitch is actually the changeup, and he does have the sinking fastball. I mean, the fastball can only do so much if you're not mixing it up. So he's going to have to work on his changeup and his sliders more if he wants to become an effective pitcher. And now the pitch to Luke Raley, and that was right down the middle for a strike. And I was intending to add Francis onto the team, but he has been taken. The first 2 starters in our league have been taken for the Blue Jays. And now the pitch. And that is a swing and a miss. But I got the starter for Sunday, and I got one of the Boston pitchers for at least when they're playing the Mariners. Because you can get like 5 strikeouts at least. 0-2 for Luke Raley. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss right down the middle, strike 3. And that is going to be 2 outs already. Very rough at bat.
I mean, I will never, ever criticize that, oh, these guys should be hitting 93 because Lord only knows what I would look like up there with 93. But man, those seemed kind of meatballish there for Luke to do something with. Well, I mean, yeah, that was kind of a rough at bat. Mariners look sloppy so far.
They do. And they could be tired from yesterday. And now the pitch. Now here is a fly ball to right field. And that is gone. That is Rowdy Tellez. Puts the Mariners on the board. He ties the game. And that felt like it just came out of nowhere. And that is his second home run of the season. I think that's probably the most classic Rowdy Tellez home run reaction that you're going to see.
Big Rowdy. Hey, listen, he can get hot. He's been bad so far, but he can get on a little bit of a hot streak and get home run happy. And man, it would be great to see one of those. So, rough start there for the Mariners, but they've got it tied back up. Big Rowdy, solo blast.
And I swear, Mariners, I didn't put any money on Blue Jays yet. When it's like 5-0, if it's like 5-1 Mariners, then I will. And now here's a pitch. Now here's Master Boney, and that is just foul, but he had a really nice hit. But yeah, good to see Rowdy Tellez hit that home run. Now we're trying to debate, did he just save his job by hitting that home run? Because we were just talking about how can he last with the Mariners by playing like this? But maybe Donovan Solano's more in danger now than Rowdy Tellez. Now we got Master Boney, the pitch, and that is a strike. That is an 0-2. That would have been a tough pitch to hit anyway. But yeah, Tellez, as soon as he hit it, you were like, oh, that's gone. And now we got the 0-2. And that is a swing and a miss. Strike 3. And down he goes. That will retire the side. But the good news is Rowdy Tellez ties the game with a home run. And the Mariners are back in business. And we will go to the bottom of the second inning. And while we're on commercial break, I got some softball highlights to show you. And we'll do this on each inning. It's about 4 clips worth of softball. And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5 a month, or join my Patreon page for just $5 a month. Link to Patreon page will be in the comments. That was the GoPro experiment. That was my very first at-bat. It did not look good. It was like a really sloppy grounder and had no chance to get there.
Well, it's tough when you got the GoPro on. It's slowing you down a little bit, so you got to get used to playing with that now.
Yeah, there'll be more. I think the fourth one you might like the most. You'll see why eventually.
Looking like you needed a Rowdy Tellez solo home run there to get the game going.
Well, there was one time in softball in 21. We played in a very hitter's park. I could hit a home run once in a while. So I hit the first home run, great. And then my confidence was so much up there. And then the second at that, I hit a nice fly ball to left field. And I did that Albert Pujols home run walk. And it landed on the glove. And literally everyone laughed at me. I think my own teammates laughed at me. And then the opposing team laughed at me because I had so much confidence it was going to go.
And you don't realize, you do, but we used to go, me and my buddies, this is 10, 15 years ago. We'd go to the park and, it was probably 300 feet. And man, you think you just got one dead on the screws and it would still be short. It's like, man, how strong these guys are to be putting them out 450, 420, 410. I'm like, oh, I got it. Pure. It's probably went 290, although I also stink at baseball. So
even the polo grounds, even the old polo grounds can't guarantee us a home run.
That's right.
That we're at. And now we're back from the break. And I think this is George Springer, the former Astro, and now the pitch. And a check swing foul. George Springer has had some interesting history with the Mariners. He was part of that nasty collision in Game 2 of the American League Division Series, which played a part in that huge comeback that the Mariners were able to complete and win that series. That was probably one of the more interesting games I listened to on radio. Now the pitch to Springer and a swing and a miss, strike 2. We're at 0-2. Imagine if I put $10 when the Blue Jays are up 8-1. I would have been paid
off. Might not have been able to.
I would have been, yeah, true. They do that sometimes. And now the 0-2 pitch. And that is a pop-up. And that is going to be foul. But is Cal Raleigh going to be... Oh, he missed it. It got off the glove. He kind of looks like he lost it in the light bulbs or something. I don't know. Or sometimes he just happened to lose it because of just bad angling. And he didn't exactly have the best angle for it.
Yeah. Toronto's probably a tough stadium for that too, because they got the roof closed. There's probably the lights on up there. So it's probably easy to lose the ball in there. I would imagine it's a tough one for that.
Yeah. And also what I noticed is the ball was behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was in front, it would have been like, yeah, you should catch that. As we're at 0-2, and now the pitch, and that is outside for a ball. Yeah, I don't like that. When I play softball, I hate that angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see where he was coming from. As we're at 1-2, and now the pitch, and that is low for a ball. I guess the clock freezes when he's winding. When Brian Wu winds,
that's why it's stopping.
Stops. I first thought it was glitching.
I did too. I keep looking at it like, why is it? Yeah, you're right. That's what it's doing.
Springer's off to a good start, by the way. He is batting like over 300. The pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And the Blue Jays are continuing to find ways to find it in the gap. Maybe the Mariners should try something like that. Try to find the gappers.
Well, and that, I'm not going to, Cal's been fantastic. He's the last player I'm going to get on, but you make that catch and one down. Now Wu's thrown a few more pitches and a base hit is the little things, even though it's a tough play, still one Cal would probably say he's got to make.
And now we've got next batter. It's going to be Barger up to the plate. He's a lefty. And now the pitch. And that is going to be inside for a ball. Next week, I have a pretty doozy of a week. I've got possibly going to an Everett Aqua Sox game, and I'm taking one of our fantasy boys, Greg's team, to the Mariners game on next Friday against Miami. I'll explain later what it's about.
Cool.
And the pitch and a bunting attempt, and that is a strike. And did George Springer try to steal? I guess he didn't. Yeah, I'm treating him to his birthday. He doesn't know this, but I'm going to try to put the baseball message in the Jumbotron to do the happy birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And everyone, the entire group is pitching in because you have to pay extra for that. The pitch, and that's going to be a strike. I tried to get diamond clubs for him. I was really, really close to getting it, but I just couldn't get it. I was so close.
You could have been sitting next to John Stanton up there. What could be better?
I know. And the throw to first, and that's not in time. I think the best value is actually, I think All-Star Club has slightly, I would think it has more value. I mean, diamond clubs are expensive. I think All-Star Clubs are still below 200 as we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to deep right field, but is he there? Marine Layer? Saved by the Marine Layer, and that makes the catch.
That looked good off the bat. I thought that was
that really does.
I thought that.
I can almost understand why Dave Sims presumably thinks it's a home run, but he's at a stadium where he can see things. We're at limited camera angles.
And I don't know about you, but I don't have the sound on because I don't want it coming through, so I'm not hearing the crack of the bat. And to Kevin Kirby's comment, I agree. Wu doesn't look as sharp as normal. Luckily, I think Wu's good enough that he can wiggle around it, but I would definitely say, so far we're early, but not as sharpest. He's given up some deep fly balls, a couple base hits. So we'll see if he settles in a little bit.
Yeah, he's kind of having more of that. He's at 23 pitches. He's been pitching efficiently, but it's been kind of, and we're at the pitch for Kirk, the pitch. And that is a ball. Yeah, you get free everything at the Diamond Club because you paid like how much Diamond Club tickets are, but they ain't cheap, I'll tell you that.
I'm actually kind of well. And let me tell you this: I've never been in the Diamond Club in T-Mobile, but the food is probably not free. They just throw it in the cost, so it's like you're still paying for it. But at least they do that. There's some places you can get those seats, and the food is still not free when you're up.
It ranges from $300 to $600 a ticket. Probably depends on where you're seating. To be honest,
actually,
we're at 2-0. The pitch and a strike. I think All-Star Club has better value. All-Star has the buffet, but you're not going to be behind home plate, and you don't get as much food. I think the biggest ripoff is the Terrace Club. As we're at the pitch, and that is a strike. That is a 2-2 count. Oh, I lied. All-Star Club. If you get the flex plan, it's basically $135 per game, but that means you're paying several, so still not cheap. Now we're at 2-2, and now the pitch, and that is outside for a ball. 3-2 for Brian Wu and the Kirk. Yeah, so All-Star Club, you better be rich, or you better have a business that can pay for it. And now we are at 3-2, and now the pitch, and that is ball 4. Take your base. The runner was going. Now you got runners on first and second. And the Mariners aren't exactly looking great. Brian Wu is not looking that sharp. I mean, I'm going to be honest. He looks a bit less sharp than Emerson Hancock yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple deep fly balls to walk. I mean, the only thing I'll say in his defense is Cal makes the play and Springer's not even on, but I don't think Kirk is an easy guy to walk. I don't think he walks a lot. I could be dead wrong on that. Nobody quote me on it, but it's going to have to wiggle out of this now.
It really does. And that was Alejandro Kirk, and looking up his stats on his strikeout splits. And now the pitch. Now here is a liner, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. This could score in the run, and he is no waving home. George Springer gets back. He thought about it, and now the bases are loaded with one out. And just by how this game is going, this could be a bullpen day for the Mariners. And that's why I was like, why'd you put in? This game kind of validates my points why I wanted Emerson Hancock to get one more game so you don't burn through the bullpen, especially still on a long road trip.
You do have Casey Lawrence that could eat up, 3-4 innings. So, and then they'll just send him down tomorrow. So,
and then hopefully call up
if it gets to that point.
Brash? But Brash doesn't look that ready yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, that was a missed call.
And now we're at the pitch. And that is a ball. Rooftop, do you have $250 on the game? Nope. And Josh, to put it in context, I put in $25. I didn't put in $250. To put it to context. You got to put context in these things. And now at 1-0, the pitch. And that's a fly ball to left field. That's probably going to get in the run. Tagging at third is Springer, and he doesn't even make a real attempt. He's kind of like, F that. So the Blue Jays are up 2-1.
That one I don't mind. You don't want the other runners advancing. That's fine. That was so deep. Just get the ball back in, and make sure nobody else advances. Yeah, Wu giving up a lot of deep fly balls. Certainly this is not the best we've seen him in his career. So,
yeah, it's kind of giving me the shadows of that debut game where I kind of literally fell asleep during the live streaming.
16-1.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was so brutal, I turned it off because my boss called me like, hey, do you want some hours? I'm like, yes. That was my different job that was. This umpire sucks, yeah, but it's not the umpire's fault for Brian Wu not pitching exactly the best. And then we got popped up by Bichette. This should do the inning. Master Boney is there. Oh, nope, calling it is Luke Raley makes the catch, and that will retire the side. But the Blue Jays put up a run, but considering the bases were loaded, I would say that is still somewhat of a wild success that Brian Wu was able to somewhat get out of it and only get one run. And because of that, it makes me want to show the next clip.
Ugh! Damn it!
Don't ever turn to the left, turn to the right.
Yeah, you gotta turn to the right, my guy.
And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5 a month, or join my Patreon page for just $5 a month. Link to Patreon page will be in the comments. Yeah, in case you haven't been aware, I've actually been working on my Patreon. I've got some content already. It's mostly going to be about it's basically my fantasy sports diary and my softball diary. That's what it basically is so far. And ad-free content, because if you have YouTube and you don't want YouTube ads and you don't want to give YouTube money, give me money then. You can watch all the videos ad-free and you would get them early too. Because sometimes someone's texting me stuff. Sid Rocks, how's it going? I think he was your referral guy. He says hello to you.
Hello, Sid. How's it going, my friend?
Oh, Josh, this one was funny. I like this one. I just find it funny how you were about to win the money and the Mariners ripped it away. So the Mariners find a way to disappoint me in every way. They disappoint me in baseball in general, and then they took my money.
It's what they do. They will never fail to disappoint. And Kevin Kirby, I agree. That could have been a lot worse. Probably very fortunate, just 2-1. So, I agree. This feels like it could be 3, 4, even 5-1 right now. So, hopefully, Mariners can get a couple runs and Wu settles in.
You know what I think is a strategy? If the Mariners are ever leading in the playoffs, put money on the other team. Because if I knew about Bet Online, I would have put money on the Astros when they were down 4-0 in game 1 of the ALDS. And yes, I probably would have won decent money on that. But for you guys that are intending about gambling, this is not me promoting it. Please gamble responsibly. Do not put in stupid amount of money like $200 on a game. Do not do that. Do like the more safe ones are like the live ones, like where if someone's up 10-0, you can bet on the other team, put in like $1, and if they come back, you can get $100 or something. And worst case scenario, just lose $1.
Right.
As we've got Ben Williamson's up to the plate, the rookie, batting .273. He's off to a pretty decent start. Mariners are 21st in the offense. The pitch, and that is a strike. And the consensus say about Ben Williamson, he's basically a possible another Josh Rojas. I guess Bet Online found a way. The website's called Bet Online, literally. I don't know how they were able to pull it off. I didn't even use a VPN for anything like that. But somehow they allow it. I don't know. I mean, we have Mariners. I got the link from Mariners Mojo. So if Mojo's pushing it out, it's like, I guess anyone can. It's really weird. I guess it did. Now we got a ground ball. And I'll give you my referral code if you want. Just imagine how much money you would have won when we were down 8-1. Yep, we were just talking about that. You put $1 in, you probably win maybe $500 on that.
Yeah, I wonder if it was even available. Sometimes we were just talking when those games get out of hand. Probably not in pro sports, usually unless it's like really bad. Betting usually stays open. Sometimes college games, like when Alabama plays those random schools, like they don't even have the betting open.
Yeah. And now we got J.P. Crawford. Just to think my strategy almost worked. The pitch. And that is a strike. I mean, I'm happy, of course, the Mariners won, but I'm like, oh, dang it. Mariners really found the right time to make an inspiring comeback. I'm telling you, I inspired them, and we agree with it. The pitch to Crawford. And that is a ball, 1-1. As much as we make jokes about J.P. Crawford and we say how bad he is, he still gets on base. 1-1 for the JP. And now the pitch. And that is, whoa, and that was inside, but that was a strike. And this umpire has been off today. I mean, it's umpires like him are the reason why there's going to be an ABS in the future where you can challenge the call. Remember we saw that in spring training? We were like, there's got to be a way to like limit this and not have them do this like every other play. Because we were watching it, like it felt like they were doing it like every single pitch. The pitch. Now here's a fly ball that looked good, but it was foul.
It did. It looked okay off the bat, but JP's reaction kind of told me. But yeah, I mean, the pitchers are just throwing too much good stuff for umps to keep up with it. I don't even blame the umps. I mean, I can't imagine being back there. And I mean, that was a correct call.
Now the pitch. And that is strike 3 called. And yep, you were right. That is the right call. JP Crawford not too happy about it. I think he's more unhappy about the other one that really shouldn't have been a strike, and that is now 2 outs.
Kind of maybe hoping he would get a makeup call or something there, but that was a strike. So Mariners definitely look a little sluggish. They look like a team. Toronto looks rested. They had yesterday off, which I'm not going to lie, kind of makes me mad that they got yesterday off and we had to play a getaway game against the Reds, but I'm sure it's going to flip at some point where we get that advantage too. So that's baseball. Can't complain. Just got to go out there and play.
Yep. I mean, that's why I know I'm kicking like a dead horse. That's why I wanted Hancock to just get one more inning of work.
Or Miller, even. Miller only went 5. That didn't help either.
Wow. I mean, I'm kind of confused. Like, is Scott Service still the manager? Or is Dan Wilson doubling down on it? Or some say it's Jerry DiPoto's call the entire time, and now the pitch. Because we know what Jerry DiPoto says. What he says is basically self-obsessed things. And of course, he's not going to take the blame for anything. So what's he going to do? Allow the fans to blame everybody else but him. So there's also that, where Jerry DiPoto might be saying, hey, pull him out right now. Oh,
yeah, and I think Miller did say he was a little fatigued or something, was hurting a little bit. I don't know. So maybe that was the reason. But that one was the more. And then Castillo only went 3 or whatever, 4. Now that one was legitimate, but they just
he just did not look good.
Yeah, he didn't look good. Miller would be the one I'd kind of scratch my head on the most. But if he was sore or something, it happens. Hancock, yeah, I might have sent him out there for one more, but it's also I kind of get not trying to get too much out of him. And the bullpen's got to be better. They've got to pitch better.
That's the old saying. You gotta, in order to get the best understanding about all these things that are being done, it's always about watch the game, because sometimes you don't see everything. Numbers don't explain everything. The pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Bo Bichette. Easy play. Throw to first in time, but at least Julio kind of hustled on that one, so I'll give him that. That's going to retire the side. We are going into the bottom of the third. Mariners are trailing 2-1, but the good news is I have another clip. And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership for just $5 a month, or join my Patreon page for just $5 a month. Link to Patreon page will be in the comments. Well, someone noticed that my jersey said Rooftop Korean on it. And it's kind of funny. I think they kind of had the idea. They noticed that obviously means I'm Korean. And the crazy thing is not many people know about the origins of the whole Rooftop Korean thing. And if you guys want to know, just look up Los Angeles 1992. Just Google that, and you should be able to get your answer within, I don't know, a couple links. But I'm not going to explain it because it's too dark of a story. Let's just say I had a friend that was, I guess when he was a baby, because that's when he was a baby, I think he was at least maybe 6 blocks away from that event. That's all I'm going to say. Not going to explain it further because it was sure a time, all I can say. But now this game, yeah, Mariners looking sluggish. They're definitely, they don't look rested. You're right. Fatigued, day off. Crazy games, too, did not help. Yeah. Like, all the 3 games were quite earned. Or, yeah, they were pretty much earned games.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, this is one of those games I could probably forgive a little bit if they drop it just off that tough series, but it doesn't get any tougher the next 2 days, and you go to Boston. And, the Mariners are kind of in that realm right now, that kind of standings where, one more hot streak and boom, they are, 14-10 on top of the world. But you're also real quick going, 10-14. Did you see the Pacoda projects the Mariners now to have the best record in the AL at the end of the year? Not that projections mean a whole lot, but something.
This is all I'm going to say. No, he's crazy. He doesn't watch all the games like I do. And now here's Vlad Guerrero Jr. Now the pitch. And that is a strike. And this game has been going so crazy that I didn't even mention that this is my 13th game of the season. Magic number is now 87. And now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to center field. Julio is running, but he's there to make the catch, and that'll make it 1 out. So at least
That one
Brian
off
Wu
the
got
bat, I
that out
thought
of the
was
way.
good.
I thought about it for a second, but then when I saw the pacing of Julio's running, I was like, eh. And now they're talking to Dan Wilson. Let's see what he's saying.
Able to get one across the top, or in their half inning, and then
Dan Wilson has played for Lou Piniella, Bob Melvin, and Mike Hargrove. So he's had some pretty good company to learn under.
I didn't even think of that when the Mariners played the Giants, that Dan played a couple years under Bomel.
Yeah, in 2003 and 4, the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field, and Rayleigh makes the catch, and he hit the fence a little bit.
Oh my gosh. That's like the 6th ball that I've thought off the bat.
Brian Wu's hitting. I hate to say it, but yeah, the numbers look good. Like, yeah, that's what we're gonna say. Like, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Why are you pulling Brian Wu after like 5 or 6 innings?" And we're gonna say because the balls are all going to the warning track. That's why.
Well, and right now this is a game too. If Wu can get you 6 or 7, get that bullpen reset a little bit. Because Munoz probably down today, Spire's probably down, Bizardo, Vargas are probably down. So this is kind of and I wonder if that does affect the starting pitcher too, because you figure as a starter, like, I've got to give innings today because the bullpen's taxed. So he may be throwing a little bit, some more meatballs up there.
To Tellez, and he got it, and good. That was an easy 1-2-3 inning. He didn't even pitch that much. I think he pitched maybe 4 pitches out of that. So good for Brian Wu to get out of that real quickly. And now the favorite clip. You got to see this one. All I can say, to give you a preview, I'll just say Chase Utley. I was called out on that play due to interference. Apparently, it's considered unsportsmanlike conduct to even raise your voice like that. Oh, come on. I wasn't even trying to hurt anyone. I mean, have you seen this one?
Defensive back. Check this out. This was going to be a tough turn anyway. The ball behind second base, he was going to turn that way to make a throw.
I didn't think so. And if you would like to know how that game went, join my YouTube membership. Yeah, so I did a verbal Chase Utley on the girl. Of course. And she was like a rookie, and all my teammates are like, "Why'd you do that? She hasn't been catching the ball." I'm like, "But you would be surprised."
It looks like she made the play, so she did her job.
Yeah, it's just some will say that she wasn't going to catch it anyway, but it's one of those things, like, you just don't know. So it's like heat of the game. That's the thing when you're playing a game when it was high pressure. We were actually on a comeback, trying to make a comeback. And when you're running, all logic is gone. Everything's gone. All the analytics, everything is gone. The only thing you're thinking about is just getting to second base.
Just run.
Just run your butt off.
So do they have umpires there, or is it like self-done, or they actually have people that umpire it?
Oh, there's umpires. There's no selves. There's a real umpire there. And of course, everyone's like, "Oh, umpire sucks. His strike zones." You know what? The guy's not even a professional umpire. He's just trying to pay his bills. That's all I can say. I usually don't care what umpires do. I'm one of those guys that believes that umpires are not the reasons why a game went the way it did.
They're usually not. It's very rare when they actually cost a team game, because you can always look back at things you should have done differently as a team. There's always something. Not saying umpires don't make bad calls. They make a lot of them, but there's always things you could do differently throughout a game.
Kevin Seitzer, they're showing him 0-1 for Jorge Polanco, the pitch. And he got jammed up on that one, popped up. You could see it. It hit the skinny part of the bat. And that's the most deadly pitch. Like, when I'm a pitcher in softball, you always try to pitch on those insides to get that skinny part of that bat. They're showing Kevin Seitzer. He was a former 87 rookie runner-up. And the funny thing is, Edgar hit his first triple in 87.
See if Cal can get into one here.
Yep, Cal Raleigh. It's Canada time. He's the Canada man. The pitch. And now here's a liner to right field, and that will drop in for a base hit. This could be extra bases. The throw to second, and I don't know if he's going to make it. The throw to second, and that is way in time. He was out by a mile.
Hit it too hard.
He hit it too hard, and it bounced. I mean, you like the effort, but it was kind of like...
Why did they show if the Mariners were going to challenge it in the dugout? Like, it wasn't even close. He slid off the... He didn't even reach the bag.
He was out by a mile.
You know what, though? I don't blame Cal there. The offense has been scuffling, trying to get, in scoring position there. I mean, I guess sometimes tags are missed. Ooh. No, he got him. Okay.
No, you got him. I hate to say it. Barely in some ways. And that is going to be up high for a ball. Yeah, that's the thing. When you're running like that, logic goes away. All you can, don't pull a Craig Biggio. Don't pull a 2011 Brendan Ryan. No one's going to remember that. The pitch, and that's a strike. I think Brendan Ryan once tried to run for second base on literally a dropping single. Like, it was literally like an easy single. He still tried to run. I was like, but that was also when the Mariners were trying to break their long losing streak, so you couldn't blame him, I guess. The pitch to Rosarena, and that was in there for a strike. That's a nasty one. That's a tough one to hit because it's literally right in the inside. And now those are the tough ones to hit. Rosarena 209, 4 home runs. He hit the home run yesterday. He killed my $250 basically. And the 1-2 pitch. Yeah.
The 2000 Altuve hit that Josh mentioned. I think that was against the Mariners, and they threw him out.
It was, and they threw him out at from left field. Yeah. As we're at 2-2, and now the pitch. Oh, and that plunked him, and that will get him to first base. Too bad that hit by the pitches don't count towards on base percentage, I think. Not sure if it does. They do.
Yep.
Well, he gets on base.
Shame now with Cal would have been first and second. You know what's funny on that Cal single? The right fielder kind of bobbled it for half a second. I wonder if that gave Cal like I'm going to go. So I wonder if the bobble actually helped the Jays there. If he didn't bobble it, Cal might have stayed put there. And then
maybe he did it on purpose because there's outfielders out there that do those kind of tricksy kind of stuff. Except you have to have the right timing to be able to trick people.
Exactly. It's dangerous because it might not work.
Biggio was in the crowd watching that game. Wow. Didn't know that. And now here's a fly ball foul. He does it again. But Luke Raley got good contact on that, and he's actually the second in hit by the pitch leader since 23. Man, these are just random stats. I don't like those since 23 or since 24. I don't like those.
It's got to be like a 5-year stretch, like doing it over. Well, it's like the other day I saw something with the Yankees. I think it was like Chisholm struck out 3 times in a game for the first time since August of 24. Like, that's like 40 games ago. It's not even that long ago. Like, what are we doing here?
You know what's the weirdest stat trap I got into, and I put it on YouTube, and people made fun of me for it? Josh Rojas and Julio Rodriguez are the first players for their first name Jays to do this, and everyone literally laughed at me for it in the comments.
But that one's kind of funny. Like, that's a unique, like, it's not meant to be taken seriously. These other numbers are meant to be taken seriously. So it's like, that's just a fun, like Rojas hitting a foul ball to the same guy twice. That's just fun stuff.
I like Angie, but you two are easier to listen to. Wow, I'll take it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
0-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball again. Luke Raley is still trying to get off to a good start. But Luke Raley did hit that 2-run homer yesterday. Yep.
See if you can put one in the gap here and tie this game up. 2 outs. Randy's going to run. So let's see.
To put that to understanding, it wasn't a commercial. They were just showing the highlights. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner to right field, and that is going to drop in for a base hit. And Randy Rosarena should be going to third base. Luke Raley to second base, and not in time. The throw to the plate, and looks like we got in a rundown. And Rosarena, and he is going to be tagged out. He gave up. And he's just laughing about it. Or kind of laughing about it. Wow. All I can say is way too aggressive base running going on right there. Just bad judgment. Bad base running has already been plaguing the Mariners, and it happened twice in one inning.
That's frustrating. That's just, Cal's base running error. I saw Negron giving Randy the send sign there, so that might be on Negron. Those are frustrating. Like, I get with 2 outs, you're trying to score that run, but right down in right field, there's not enough room in Toronto in right field there. It's not rolling into a corner. Nothing you can do. You just take second and third and hope Rowdy give yourself a chance, and you look at that inning, if Cal just stays at first, and it might have played out differently. We say that all the time. So I don't know if Randy would have been hit. Luke maybe doesn't get the double, but let's say it plays out. Cal's at first, Randy's hit, Luke's double scores a run. You have second and third, just, those innings for us. I'd rather see them just ground out 3 times, but the bats are, hitting at least, I guess. But you would think
that it could be a matter of time until they maybe score.
Yeah, at least they're making some contact there. But Wu doesn't look super sharp, and I do get more aggressive with 2 outs, but that wasn't even close. Like, the ball was thrown home. I didn't even see Randy on the screen. Like, it's not like it took a perfect throw, bang, bang play. Like, he wasn't.
And I thought Luke Raley was going to be thrown out. That it looked like it from that angle.
Yeah, he was all, and I think that's why Negron sent him, because they threw it in a second. He was kind of thinking, Randy will come around and score here. But I hate that. It just because it's, you had it. You had a good inning. You had essentially 2 doubles and a hit by pitch, and he didn't score. I mean, when you think about it,
brutal, just absolutely brutal.
God,
now they're showing
so much.
Now they're showing MLB The Show. I refuse to buy any sports games, and I just won't do it.
I did buy college football. Hey, Christian, what's up? No, great win for those Cubs today. Holy cow, what a game.
Yeah, how much did Eugenio Suarez do for me that day? I think he pretty much carried my team. Oh, Randy Rosarena had a hesitation. He didn't even.
Well, and it's funny. I actually thought for a second there, then I'll let you get back to your play-by-play, but I thought for a second that there was no one covering home and he was going to score.
I thought so too. Now we got a line drive base hit to left field, and that's easily going to be extra bases. I think that's George Springer who's going to get the second base. Or I think that could be Santander. No, I think that's Springer. Springer gets there.
Ugh.
Not good. Yeah, Brian Woo's already looking shaky this outing. And to be honest, like, the entire starting rotation has been looking shaky at best. Like, they are actually statistically they're barely a top 15 rotation right now. And that's just not good. That's not what you want to see. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a liner to right field, and that is fouled. So many hard hit balls today.
Yeah. A lot of both teams have hit a lot of hard ones foul, it feels like.
And that's Addison Barger. He actually hasn't even gotten a hit, but maybe he is due, just the way that Brian Wu is pitching. And this is not the Brian Wu that we are used to, like, not at all. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner to left field, more like a bloop, and that's going to be caught by Randy Arozarena, and he's going to throw to third base. And the throw to third, and once again, the lazy throw by Arozarena. Sure, he had bad angle, but he didn't. It seemed like he took some time to throw, or he didn't even pay attention or realize that Springer was actually going to run that one.
I think he handled that one pretty well. I think he's at a tough angle there. He's got to turn around and throw and set himself. I think that one was fine. I mean, that was just, that was hit at such an odd angle that he came in on, then he turned around. So I think he got that one back in as quick as he could.
Yeah, that's just shows that's just good heads up base running by George Springer. He's a smart guy for that. The pitch and a swing and a miss, strike one. But Jay's I'm a very Jay's.
Go ahead. Yep.
Oh, I'm saying that, yeah, as you can tell, I'm a huge critic of Arozarena. It's because of all of his poser and flashiness is what rubs me the wrong way. And he overdoes it too, in my opinion.
The Blue Jays are doing a lot of the little things right today. They've moved runners over. They've getting sack flies. They've really, they're throwing guys out in the base pass. They've really, kind of been polar opposite of the Mariners. Mariners have been kind of a mess. The Jays are playing good, sound fundamentals.
They really are. It's absolutely true. Which is why I'm nervous for the rest of the series, because Mariners are going to play taxed. And now we're at 0-2, and now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit, and that's going to score another run. George Springer scores, and that is Alejandro Kirk who gets the RBI single, and now it's the Blue Jays 3 and the Mariners 1.
That's frustrating. That's 0-2. Like that is just caught way too much of the plate for 0-2. I know Kirk doesn't do a lot with that, but man, like it's got to be out of the zone. You got him to swing and miss twice. Like, come on.
Like, it makes you wonder, like, what in the world is going on? And now we've got Wagner now. Here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through a base hit again. And now it's going to be runners on first and second. Yeah, Alejandro Kirk is not even a good hitter, and he's still killing the Mariners.
Everything finding a hole here against Wu.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Christian asked me what are my thoughts on the Mariners so far. I think they've been all right. They've had some hiccups. They're definitely missing George Kirby and Matt Brash. Offense has been better than I thought. I mean, I can't be too mad. They're 10-9. Season ended today. They would be in the playoffs. I mean, they've had their hiccups. They're not a perfect team by any means. They're going to struggle in some areas. But I think once the starting pitching gets really dialed in and Kirby's back, I mean, I feel I'm fine. If you would have put me in this spot 10-9, I would have taken it. It's going to be a tough 6 games, though. They got to find a way to get a couple here against the Jays and Red Sox. So hopefully they can at least kind of go 500 here. And then they come home for Marlins and Angels and potential to get some wins, hopefully. But you never know.
You just really never know.
Yeah, Wu doesn't have a strikeout yet. Kevin just mentioned. I think that's correct. He has not looked sharp. It just hasn't. He doesn't look good.
And that is inside for a ball. He has not looked good at all. But this team is tired. They had a day off on Tuesday, but when you have a series like against Cincinnati, that's what's going to happen. And now the 1-0, and that is a strike. And the one bright spot is, considering that the Mariners are playing the Blue Jays and the Red Sox in the next coming series, the one good thing about this is at least we get it done and over with in April. So I'm okay.
That's a great point. Yeah,
get it done and over with. The pitch, because like last year, Mariners played the Red Sox at literally one of the worst possible times when they were literally on the downward trend, and that was like right 100%. At the trade deadline, and it's still. Like Justin Turner and Arozarena still were not enough to save them. The 2-1. And that is a strike 2-2. You hope Red Sox pull what they did in the South Side. Huh. We're looking at a 2-2 pitch so far. And now here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Finally got the first strikeout. And that is going to be 2 outs for the Blue Jays.
There's that strikeout.
Finally needed it. I mean, finally got it.
But yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. I'd much rather get Boston out of the way in April. Well said. I'd much rather play these series in April when you have more chances to make up for it. I mean, who knows? Maybe Mariners win the series, but it's always a house of horrors. And so is Toronto, really, besides the playoffs. This is a place the Mariners, I don't remember the last series the Mariners won in Toronto, to be honest.
I'll be willing to dig that statistic. The pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Ben Williamson, throw over to second, and that will be in time. And that's going to retire the side, but the Blue Jays come up with another run. Mariners are going to have to find a way to score runs. Like, as much as Wu isn't hitting or not pitching anything good, the offense still has to score.
Well, and here's the thing. Wu's keeping him in the game. He hasn't been great by any means, but you've got a chance. And the offense just stop making outs on the base pass, and you probably have 2 runs right now, and 3-2, you're a bloop and a blast away from the lead. But yeah, the last time they won a series in Toronto, I'm trying to think. If you want to look it up, I'm sure I can think about it in my head, because they didn't win, lost 2 out of 3 last year.
We lost 2 out of 3 in 23. I'm thinking of 22 or 21.
22, they lost 2 out of 3. 21, they won the series. They won that game. Toronto was playing in Buffalo, and they won on the Dylan Moore YouTube game where he went off. So they won that one.
And strangely enough, Robbie Ray was not allowed to pitch in Toronto during that series due to the COVID vaccine mandates that Canada was still hanging on. And
yeah, it was,
Robbie Ray was evident. And evidently, Robbie Ray did not take that vaccine, which was a huge contributing reason why he went to the Mariners, because at least they were like, yeah, you don't need it. We're good. But Canada, they're like, no, you got to take it or you're not playing. Just imagine, because I think Aaron Judge was not vaccinated. What if the Blue Jays and the Yankees had a series in Toronto and Aaron Judge can't play?
Well, it's funny. I think they lifted that rule because they realized, like, oh, we can't not have some of our better players playing in the series. So,
some would say that Toronto is not saying the team, but the city is low-key cheating for the team in some ways. I know I shouldn't say that. Some would say, how dare you say that? But it's not like, well, I mean, if Aaron Judge didn't, that's the thing. In order to lift one of those things, have the best player in baseball not take it, and then everyone's gonna be like, okay, fine.
Right.
Money and status talks.
And Kevin, yeah, they did win the playoff series. We were just talking regular season, but yeah, we were saying like outside the postseason, Toronto's been a bit of a I guess technically that 21 series that I said they won wasn't in Toronto. So does that even count? You know what I mean? That was in Buffalo. That. So
because of the whole, I wonder what that game was like. I didn't even get to see that game.
And then they beat up on Kikuchi in the getaway game. I remember that.
All right. Well, we can't do 2020. It was definitely not 2019. I know they did not win a series, but I can check.
They actually did. They did win there in 2019.
Oh my God, they did.
But both teams were terrible. They were like both 59 and 85 or something.
Hey, so. It counts.
It does. It does.
I'm looking for that series, though, as we got Rowdy Tellez. A home run from him would be nice if he can do that. Not expecting it. And now the pitch. And that was a nice curveball, but that's going to be a 3-0 count. Now they took 2 of 3 when they were literally on the tanking end. I remember that was a season that Jerry Dipoto basically openly admitted that we're tanking the pitch.
Right.
Now, and Scott Servais actually openly admitted too. He's like, oh yeah, with the A's and the Astros being good, yeah, we can catch up. It's like, yeah, you basically openly admitted tanking. The crazy thing was I was actually excited and out of the pitch, and ball 4, take your base. Tellez gets on base. The crazy thing about the start of 2019, I was actually stoked for that season. I was actually cheering for the purge of getting rid of Cano and Diaz, because I was like, there's no way they can go through it one more year because they're getting older. No one's getting any younger. And I know like Harold Reynolds wanted to keep the team intact for like 1 year, but I was like, nah, get it over with. Let the kids play eventually. So I was excited to and there's the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that's going to be a base hit. Now we got runners on first and second with nobody out so far. So we got the little more of the mid-tier to the lower tier players actually contributing in this inning.
Nice game for Rowdy. Home run and a walk. Mastroboni stays hot. And yeah, I agree with you. You know, sometimes those seasons, while you don't want the rebuilds to last, there's a refreshingness to it to kind of go, hey, we're starting over, that no expectations. So, you know, I was okay with it for 2019. It was a long season, but I wasn't upset. You know, it was definitely Seahawks time in September.
Guess what was my least favorite part of that season?
Like Mariners wise?
Yes, Mariners wise of 2019. The pitch to Williamson low for a ball. Yeah, there was a part I truly hated the part of.
I don't know. I can't think of what I don't, it's probably obvious, but I don't know.
The 13-2 start, I hated it.
Oh, that was actually hilarious. I was like, maybe this team's actually good.
Yeah, because then I got emotionally invested for basically no reason. And then when I saw the Houston series the following, I was like, yeah, we're not. No, it's not happening. Who do you think is slower, Rowdy or Vogelbach? I think Vogelbach. And now here's a fly ball to right field that may move the runner, and that is caught. And we got a throw to third base and tagging, and we got Rowdy Tellez thrown out at third base.
What are they doing? Why? Why can't they just lose normally? Like, can they just, like, what's the... like, losses happen, but, like, why? Why are they doing this? Like, it's not even... Here's the thing. It wasn't even close. Like, none of these plays have been even close. Cal out by a mile. Randy out by a mile. Rowdy out by, like... it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, Kevin Kirby makes an excellent point. Would have bunted with Williamson.
Yeah, it's been better than what they did, that's for sure.
Yeah, what happened to bunt happy Dan Wilson?
I mean, I won't get on for not bunting there, but like, just also don't make it. Certainly, again, would have been better. I'd rather have that. Listen, and here's the thing: if you're trying to manufacture a run, clearly by having Rowdy go there, and that's probably on Rowdy himself, right? Like, because that's God, drives me nuts.
I think the team is playing with panic right now. They're playing with full panic. That's what it is. And that is outside for a ball because they know that Toronto's a very tough place to play no matter how good or bad the team is. And then, of course, I think they're maybe a little bit distracted that they have to play in Boston the very next week. So it seems like they're thinking too much ahead. Now the pitch, and that is outside for a ball, 2-0.
You know what? Actually, I kind of do agree with bunting there. JP's been swinging the bat well. You got Julio after that. Polanco. Williamson's a good technician guy, it seems like. I actually don't think that would have been a bad spot for a bunt. I don't hate that they didn't do it, but like I wouldn't have hated it. I wouldn't have hated it at all there, actually, the more I think about
Pitch to Crawford, swing and a miss, and that is going to be 2-1.
This right fielder is killing us.
Yeah, he's gotten quite a bit of action. Maybe the wear and tear of his arm could make him tired at the end of the game. I don't know.
He's going to strike out with the bases loaded because they made him throw so much.
2-1. And that is a strike again. The only highlight I got is Rowdy Tellez. Yeah. Now we've got 2-2. Could use a home run on this one. And now the 2-2 pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. And JP Crawford is still fighting it off.
See if JP can get his first home run.
Yeah, JP is due for that, even though he's not really a home run hitter.
He's going to get one some point. So let's have it right now.
And now the 2-2 going to be, and the pitch. And that is outside ball 3. I actually believe the umpire was going to call that a strike 3. Rowdy Tellez is looking a little bit bummed. I mean, yeah, you got out when you shouldn't have. I mean, who made that call? Was it Tellez trying to be aggressive?
I would think so.
Or is the third base coach just not being aggressive, saying, hey, stop? And now the 3-2 runner goes, and that is foul ball because the runner can take off on a 3-2.
Yeah, it's got to be Rowdy, right? Because, I mean, unless there's a scouting report that the right fielder's arm isn't good, but so far he's thrown every single guy out for the Mariners, so it looks pretty good to me.
Now we're at 3-2. And now the pitch. Now here is a right line drive caught by Guerrero. I was so shocked as it happened so fast. And that's going to retire to side. And once again, another wasted inning for the Seattle Mariners. And we go into an inning where you're going to have Guerrero, Santander, and I think George Springer. So you ain't going to get out of this inning easy. Well, there's Jimenez, but still.
Curious how hard that looked like. JP stung that.
And he did sting that one. And this game is so frustrating that I got to play a commercial.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
while he makes that pizza. What's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video and start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April.
And that's how you make mozzarella pizza. Beautiful thin crust.
You want that pizza?
It froze. I didn't get to see it. It just when you said, "Hey, show me how to cook it," and then he was just standing there, so I didn't even get to see it. So
that's a good pizza place. And now we're going to the bottom of the fifth, and actually, surprisingly, this game has actually been going pretty quickly. But you only got 40 minutes left.
And the Mariners, I guess maybe they want to get the game over for me so I can go because they just seem to be running themselves. It's funny, if you go to Savant, expected batting average, Mariners are actually higher than the Blue Jays in this game. But when you make 3 outs on the base pass, no one to blame but yourselves there. So the good news is the at-bats do continue to be pretty good. They're just not mixing it up with good base running today.
No, base running has been absolutely atrocious. And now we got Vlad Guerrero Jr., the big boy, and now the pitch. And that is in there for a strike. And this guy asked, will you be watching NHL playoffs? I don't have any emotional investment with the NHL, unfortunately.
My team was taken from me, so I didn't watch any hockey this year.
They almost crapped themselves out of the city, literally it was at least once a decade, there was some kind of drama going on with the lease and the stadium. And it's not even like the stadium was the problem. It was just, I guess Arizona and hockey did not fit together. I don't know.
It was weird. And and it wasn't like I said, they had a stadium, but the lease was up. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do with that arena? So I mean, there's been some concerts there and stuff, I guess, but I was actually there not too long ago. But yeah, I mean, hockey was always, hockey was always my third sport. It was never my big one, but it's a fun sport to watch and to be at as well.
I go to the Thunderbirds games there, and the pitch, and that is inside for a ball. Yeah, Thunderbirds and Everett, one of my more favorite local rivalries. That one's actually a fun rivalry. I've actually seen fans fight each other all over a minor league hockey game. Just let that sink in.
Right.
Now we're at 2-2, and now the pitch, and that is foul tip. And Brian Woo's at 56 pitches. The numbers say he's actually having a pretty good game, but if you actually watch the game, he's been batted up pretty good with all these pitches going into the morning track, and they've been able to find their spots. And now we're at 2-2 for Vlad Jr. and the pitch, and that is low for a ball, 3-2. And Vlad Jr., believe it or not, I don't think he was part of the trade rumors for the Mariners, but there were a lot of people and media members saying that the Mariners should at least give it a shot and see what they can offer for Vlad Jr., but they just didn't want to deal with the fact that they'll have to pay him a huge contract because Stanton doesn't like to pay. Another 3-2, and ball 4, take your base. I mean, both teams have done bad base running. Look at Springer from second to third with the ball hit to left, but he was safe. I don't know.
That was...
Kevin Kirby tries to be that voice of reason kind of guy. He tries to look.
Hey, we gotta have it.
I guess so. As if we're trying to be the voices of reason, because Jay Trident tries to make sure I am in some ways. Sometimes.
Now the pitch too. Trust me, this game has been super frustrating.
It really has, and I think that's Anthony Santander, who another player that the Mariners could have gone for in free agency, but they chose not to. So many missed opportunities in that free agency, more than the 24 offseason, the pitch. 24 was not even that much to look at, except maybe Ohtani, but that was it. And everyone else were mid-tiers at best, but I think this was a free agent that was heavily missed by the Mariners. They only got Donovan Solano as their marquee free agent signing, and that hasn't aged well at all.
Well, last offseason, the Mariners did try a little bit. Polanco, Santos, Garver, like they at least did some stuff last offseason. Didn't all work out, but
Look at all these contracts. Juan Soto has one of the biggest contracts, actually the biggest, and same with Ohtani. Ohtani actually has a steal contract.
yeah.
We're at 1 and 2. And now the pitch. And that is a foul ball. And we're looking at strike 2 for the Anthony Santander. He is a high strikeout guy, so I guess the Mariners were so concerned about his strikeouts, but you could bring the most disciplined player on the Mariners and they still gonna strike out. So does it really matter anymore? And now the pitch. And that is a ground ball and base hit. And believe it or not, Mariners still have no outs on them right now, or the Blue Jays.
Man, this has just been rough. Everything hit and play. I mean, that wasn't even really hit that hard. I mean, Vlad was walked. I mean, Wu has not been sharp at all. He's lucky to only have given up 3 runs so far in this one. This has been tough. It just, hopefully get through 6 innings here, keep it 3-1. Maybe that's why the Mariners are running the bases, because Wu's not sharp. They're trying to steal some runs. I don't
know. As we're at 3-1. Oh, but Kevin Kirby running. No, that's not Kevin Kirby. George Springer running the third base was smart because.
Yeah, Randy was going away from it.
Yeah, he was off angle. No, I thought that was genius.
I mean, it was close. Like, he could have been out. It may not have been, but I thought that was a good. If the Mariners had done that, problem with the Mariners running the bases is they've done it 3 times, been thrown out. None of them have been close. Like, Rowdy was out by a mile. Randy wasn't even on the TV screen when he came out.
Yeah. In doing so, they have screwed them out in runs. And now here's a fly ball popped up to right field, and Luke Raley should be there, makes the catch. Do they tag? And nobody's tagging.
Mariners would have tagged.
Yeah, Mariners would have tagged that one for sure.
They would have tried to come home.
Yeah, would have. And Vlad Jr. was checking out Master Boney's butt at that moment.
Miles off to a good. Master Boney's off to a good start, so he's hot.
Yeah, he has been hot. Maybe he's trying to be the. He's right now, as of now, he's the Adam Frazier that should have been.
Yeah, that's kind of what you were hoping to get from a guy like Frazier, as the production Master Boney's given him.
And now the pitch. Yeah, Adam Frazier was supposed to be that leadoff guy, supposed to get you base hits, and then he just disappeared until literally one moment for the Blue Jay series. Notable upcoming free agents: Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, Chris Bassett, JT Realmuto, Luis Arias, and Kyle Schwarber, and many more for that free agency class. So there's still players to go for, but the question is, will the Mariners even entertain that idea? Probably not, but depends how much money they actually save. But then, of course, they're going to use all that saved money towards the arbitration payments. And now the pitch. And that is a strike 2. Yeah, Tucker will be expensive, understandably so, because he is actually one of the best players in baseball. And crazy to think that last year the Astros had an outfield core of Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. And I think at one point they had George Springer at one point all together. Now here's a
definitely
liner
did.
back and
for at least a
foul.
little bit.
And this is George Springer. He's actually hitting really well.
Yeah,
Brian
I'm a little surprised.
Brian Wu's at 68 pitches right now. I do expect him to maybe get one more inning, unless he gets batted out pretty badly. And some could say this could be his last inning, as we're at 1 and 2. And now, and a throw back to second, not in time. And Vlad Jr.'s like, yeah, I was safe anyway.
Vlad didn't seem too happy with that. I don't know if he's just having some fun, but he seems a little.
Sounds like he wanted a balk.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I'd even look to see if it was.
And now we are looking at the 1-2 and the pitch. And that is inside for a ball.
A little surprised by Springer's hot start. He's someone that's kind of looked like he may be kind of dwindling down. I mean, he could cool off still. It's early, but a little surprised by his hot start.
And now we are at 2 and 2. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3.
There we go. Wu doing, you know what? Like, I do admire, like, I mean, the next pitch could be a 3-run home run. This will be taken away. Clearly doesn't have his best stuff tonight. Clearly not sharp, but he's going to give them probably 6 innings at least. And he's kept them in the game. Like, again, not great, but, you know, doing his job. I respect when pitchers don't have their best stuff and they're, you know, keeping you in it.
And now the pitch. No, it's a foul ball.
So, you know, at least they've got a chance. Like, if they can get Barger, this is the right fielder that's killed them defensively today. So always feels like when someone makes great defensive plays, they end up getting a big hit at some point in the game. So hopefully they can keep him down here in a bloop and a blast and tie this up.
And that is foul ball, and that is strike 2. That is Barger. As we're at 0-2 for the Barger. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner and fouled. And nice catch by the ball boy.
That was a nice catch. That was a nice catch. Look at them. Everybody making good defensive plays on the Mariners today, even though, well, that would have helped them, I guess. That's a nice little stab there by the ball boy. Look at that. Get him a glove and put him at first.
As we're at 0-2, and now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball that should be playable. It's actually to be a running effort, and Julio makes the catch. And you saw Luke Raley diving for it. He's got to love the effort, but that's going to retire the side. And Luke Raley had a smile on his face. Does that smile spread towards the team and help?
I mean, you know, good job by Wu there. First and second, nobody out. Gets out of it. Maybe that gets some little momentum. Like, again, the bats are, the good news is the bats are swinging it okay. Just stop making dumb outs on the base paths. And, you know, I'm not saying they're going to win this game. They probably won't, but, you know, at least you've got a shot here. So someone bloop and blast one or, you know, let's go. It's not over.
If the Mariners take the lead, I kind of want to put a little something on the Blue Jays if they take the lead.
It wouldn't be a bad bet because you're not going to have Munoz. You probably don't have Spire in this one. So, you know, it should be a winnable. Sorry, something distracted me in the background there. It should be a winnable game for the Jays, even if the Mariners do take the lead, is what I was trying to say.
Mariners are at a plus 375. I'll pass. It's not even worth.
You don't want to put money on your team. That's a dangerous road. It's a dangerous road. Unless
you put money against your team.
Yeah, putting money on your team is dangerous because then you got twofold. You're mad at them for losing, and then you're mad at them for losing you money. I really, unless something, I never bet on the Seahawks or Mariners unless someone just blows me away or I'm like, oh, I got to take that. I like that bet. But if it doesn't, I don't even think about putting money on my teams because too much emotion.
Oh, let's do a pizza ad. We got an order for a Hawaiian pizza. While he makes that pizza, what's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video. And start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April. My goal, let's just say this. The goal for my YouTube channel is to get a customer to say, hey, I just saw Rooftop Sports' YouTube video and I want that discount. That's the goal of the entire damn season. The pitch to Julio and popped up. And Bo Bichette's going to be there and makes the catch.
Julio's gotta, I don't know what he's upset about there, but Julio's got to get some rallies going. He's the guy that needs to put a ball in the gap to get, and he probably beats out some of those base running plays. So he's got to get going. He's got to be better there. And one pitch outs are just so frustrating.
Yeah. And yeah, this is where we could use Eugenio Suarez, because he would have been like, hey, Julio, come on, man. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, just like when I was praising, here's the thing. I didn't agree with Eugenio Suarez said about the Hector Neris situation, but I commended him for being there for him. Like, I didn't agree with the message, but I liked what he did to protect his teammate. There was nothing wrong with that.
Nair signed with the Angels, so he is back in the AL West.
Hey, we're going to have a little bit of rivalry again. The pitch.
We'll see him next homestand.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Neris against Julio, and we're going to get – Neris is going to get a lot of boos that game. Josh says Julio needs Neris to fire him up. The pitch. Here's a liner and fouled, and Mariners do hit the ball well, at least. I mean, and that's the thing. Mariners have to score because we're in freaking Sky Dome, and they got to hit because Sky Dome is clearly Hitter's Park. Like, they're basically Kingdom vibes.
Jay's bullpen is nasty on the back end too, so you probably got this in the 7th to really.
They gotta hurry it up. Yeah, because I have the Blue Jays pitcher in the bullpen. The pitch. Here's a liner, and that's going to be a base hit. Now we got a runner on first base. And all I can say is, Julio, Polanco, do not overstretch your running abilities, because he's been doing that a little bit.
Dodgers beating the Rangers. Good.
Yeah. That'll help a little bit off of Jacob deGrom. And that was early in the game, too.
All right, Cal. 2-run blast. Tie it up.
And now we got Cal Raleigh up to the plate. He's got to step up. And now the pitch up high for a ball.
Someone asked best division in the AL. I think it's still the East. Definitely not the Central. And the West is just tight. I don't think there's any real great team in the West. The West is probably the most competitive, maybe. But the East is probably the best.
That's a strike. 1-1 to count. As we're at top of the 6th inning, still 1-1 or 1-1, 3-1 Blue Jays, I meant to say. This game's been going on pretty quickly. And now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. And actually, I might just say that I think Wu will get one more inning because the bullpen's very taxed. Like, you don't really have much options.
Yeah, I'd let Wu go 6.
Got 1 and 2. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3.
Went up in the zone, little 2-seamer tailing away, and Francis throwing the ball well. Just got it past Cal there. So we'll see if Rayleigh is Luke Rayleigh up next.
Randy Rosarena.
Randy, thank you.
And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. Going to be a double play ball. No, that's not even the double play anyway. It's out at second base. That's going to
need the double play.
Nope.
No base running errors.
Oh, man.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
Randy and Julio got to quit swinging it for, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to say that this feels like it kind of makes you wonder, like maybe the Mariners were better off just having Wu finish the job yesterday, and then they would have been a little bit more rested. They would have felt mentally rested. Because let's say you have Wu, he pitches well, you can trust him to go one more inning. You don't burn the bullpen as much. And I'm just saying extremely best case scenario. And of course, it could have gone the same way too, but let's just play this out. Wu pitches into that 7th inning if they pitched him on Thursday. Then you have Hancock today. And if the Mariners lost today with Hancock, it at least would have been understandable. At least it would have been, well, they were tired anyway. But of course, their other mindset was they just want to give them the best possible rotation going into Toronto because they know they have to win this series too. So it's kind of like those chicken and egg kind of feelings.
Mm-hmm. Well, and now with no more game 163s, games versus the AL opponents are more valuable. I don't have a problem with it. I get what you're saying. Like Wu gives you more length yesterday, and then, hopefully win, but who knows, and Hancock was fine. So it's hard to really think about what would have happened. But yeah, I get where you're coming from there. Wu goes 6 or 7 potentially.
Ground ball right to Williamson, throw over the first. In time, and something tells me that I think Jorge Polanco probably would have bobbled that one.
Yeah, nice to see a good throw from third base. And yeah, swinging the first pitch thing is so tough because they put him in the seats, we're not complaining about it. But when they ground out, it's frustrating. So I think the thing is, if you're going to swing at that first pitch, do something with it. It's frustrating when they're making the outs on the first pitch swinging and they're not even hit hard.
Now we've got Wagner. And I was right. Wu is going to pitch this inning. The pitch, and that is a strike. And I would wonder if Brian Wu pitches well again, if he pitches well in this inning, maybe one more inning. Yeah. But with 76 pitches and the way the game is going on, I still think they're going to go to the bullpen.
What's he at right now? That pitch he just threw was 77. I mean, if he can get out of this under 85,
one more inning, and
yeah,
best case scenario, I think he gets the 7th. But if he gives up a hit, Dan Wilson's going to pull him out. So they're probably getting the bullpen ready right now. Notable relievers like Munoz is gone. Vargas is gone. Thornton's probably gone. No, not Thornton. No, Thornton's still around. No, Thornton will be available because he only had 4 pitches to pitch out Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, I think Kirk is the slowest guy in baseball, Kevin. He's definitely a candidate for it for sure. Williamson probably could have walked it over to first.
And now we've got 1 and 2, and now the pitch. And that is a foul ball again.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and it's always tough with Wu too with the injury history. You don't want him throwing too much, but if you can get him out of this inning under 90, I think it's worth it to maybe think about. At least, like you said, having him start the 7th. And then truthfully, if this holds, you're not going to have to pitch a 9th inning. So then you would just need 1 inning covered, give it to Thornton or to Legumina or something. And then, everyone's good to go tomorrow. Oh yeah, Maldonado is probably the slowest.
Tomorrow, I would think they're going to be a little bit better rested, but if they lose this game, they really got to win those last 2 games because it will be critical because you do not want to go into Boston losing a series. You want to go into Boston winning a series. What, sweep Boston?
Well, out of nowhere. But you know what? They won't have Logan in that series. They won't have, it'll be Miller. Oh, they might have Logan because they have the off day.
Yeah, isn't Logan pitching today or tomorrow?
Logan's tomorrow, but then they're off Monday. So in Boston, it'll probably be Bryce, Wu, and then Logan in Boston. I think they'll save Hancock in Miami.
You think they'll save? Ooh, yeah, that's good. That's what you call desperation. And now the 3-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 outs. And Wu is actually pitching well in this inning. But yeah, it makes you think that it makes me feel for our starters. And I think I think the George Kirby injury is partially the reason why our pitchers aren't looking good because they feel the pressure to pitch better. They're pitching with less. They're not getting as much rest. Like, sure, their arms are getting managed, but they are pitching on like 2-3 days, like 3 days rest kind of thing, or 3 or 4, because usually you get 5. Now here's a fly ball to center field, but Julio was there, and he makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Hopefully you'll be around when you hear my 7th inning special, because we all know how special that is.
This will be my last half inning. So let's see if we can get some runs. And then I will stay for your 7th inning stretch, but then I will have to get going. So
yeah, here's my reaction. Had to do that.
Always great clip.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch out. That's how I explained the Mariners meltdown last season. Like,
oh, I know.
Austin Powers was the Astros. They're like, get out of the way, and the guy's like, no, because he couldn't believe it.
20 miles away. I mean, it's what was I going to say? Kevin's point. Yeah, at least the Rangers in Houston are playing the Dodgers and Padres, and the Angels are playing the Giants, I think, who are been off to a good start. So everybody in the division kind of with some tough series here. So, I mean, it happens. I didn't expect the Mariners to sweep Toronto, and you got Logan going tomorrow. You feel pretty good about that. So, if they lose this, they're 2-2 on the road trip. This is a tough road trip. Cincinnati, Toronto, and Boston. If you would have told me 5-4 to start this road trip, I would have signed the dotted line right away. So, that's still very much, a possibility. So I'm not super upset here today, just because the base running has just been atrocious. But
yeah, base running is what has been killing this team so far, and I think you're going to probably be saying base running throughout your entire post-game show,
which will be up very late.
How long do you think it takes for Seattle to get an NBA team?
I have no idea.
All I can say is I heard that Adam Silver has something to say. I didn't see the clip, but I cannot trust a word that comes out of him. Honestly, I trust David Stern more than Adam Silver, because at least David Stern was straight to the point and he was an honest asshole about it. But Adam Silver's like, oh, yeah, Seattle, you're such a great city, but we're thinking of... No, but Dave Stern's like, no, F you, Seattle, you're not getting a team. Honestly, that was actually more respect. It's just that... thinking about it, it didn't help that the state basically told David Stern to go, himself right in front of Howard Schultz when he was trying to get that key arena remodel. It was Speaker of the House, Frank Chop, basically saying, I'm not subsidizing Ray Allen's contract. That did not help. David Stern, sure, bad guy, but the state didn't really help either. But also, Howard Schultz shouldn't have went to the state for that kind of situation either. Should have negotiated with Seattle, because usually going to a state for taxpayer dollars for that kind of stuff is going to get someone from like people that don't even live in Seattle very upset, especially like Eastern Washington voters. They don't want anything to do with that. And now here's Dylan Moore up to the plate, and now the pitch, and the numbers do back it up, because the Kingdom vote was winning in their votes barely, but there's one group that they did not count yet. It was all of Eastern Washington that wasn't counted for yet. And now we got Dylan Moore too. Well, and now the pitch
for Rayleigh or Rowdy.
Let me check.
I think Rayleigh.
It's Luke Rayleigh, because they're playing the matchup game, because I guess Luke Rayleigh is so bad to watch against lefties that they don't want to deal with it. And that Dylan Moore is actually off to a good start. So why not keep the hot bat? And a 3-0. Oh, a strike, and that was outside. This umpire does not want to. He just wants to keep it going.
It did catch the zone according to it. So
and look at Dan Wilson's face. He couldn't believe it. He's not happy about it.
There we go.
Oh, you got it. The 3-1.
Oh, sorry.
And ball 4, take your base. It's that yours is. I'll deal with yours better. Steve's unfortunately is like 10 seconds behind me. So I'm not going to get the instant reaction out of him.
I try to hide it, but sometimes it's so hard when I see it. Like the base running, it's just like I can't not have a reaction to that garbage.
All right. What's the best
Solano's
one was when your TV was broken, because then you're like, it's all you, Rooftop.
I'm like, you take it from here. That was that game a couple
Donovan
years ago.
Solano. Oh my God, Donovan Solano's pinch hitting. Oh no,
He's
no,
due.
no.
We're getting Solano. He's putting
You
one in the
think
gap
he's
right
due?
here. He's putting one in the gap right here.
I guess Rowdy Tellez is done, and now they're also playing the matchup game. That's why 077. That's like 2005 Scott Spezio numbers, literally. And now the pitch, and that is gonna miss it for a ball. I remember I was at a game in 2005 against the Angels. They were showing Scott Spezio's average, and one guy screamed, "That's pathetic!" Literally, was just screaming at the top of his lungs. It was funny. The 1-1. And now the pitch, and a swing and a miss, and you felt that was like his pitch right there. And that is going to be strike 2 for Donovan Solano. And
man, he just looks cooked.
it's so disappointing that we were like just hoping for like a half-ass kind of season from last season. We're not even getting that. And now we're at 1-2. The pitch, low for a ball that nearly got away. Does Dylan Moore even move? Nope.
And Solano's been a good hitter in his career, and just, I mean, we're still early. Like everybody's a 4 for 4 away from having good numbers. But I mean, has he hit anything hard this year? Like, I don't think there's been one ball.
No,
like,
they were
Solano
like,
got that.
They were like there was like kind of a blooper. That was like the one single. I think that was an RBI, or I don't even know if it was an RBI. I don't even know what it was. And now we're at 2-2, and now the pitch. Now here is that's gonna go right to the second base's glove.
Did he drop that? Were they trying to get
Like a double play out of it?
Like he dropped it intentionally?
Legally, you can, because it's not runners on first and second.
Yeah.
And if I were him, I would have done that.
I guess they said he caught it.
That gives me an idea. Maybe in softball on a pop-up. No, you can't, because the guy's going to be running like no matter what. So you can't do that.
Well, it would have been smart because they'd rather have Solano running the bases, the Blue Jays, I mean, than Dylan Moore. So now Leo Rivas who's Rivas pinch hitting for?
I think Rivas is pinch hitting for Ben Williams or Miles Masterboni.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Dan Wilson's bringing basically everyone out, which I kind of question. I'm not really.
I would, if you're gonna pinch hit for Masterboni, people are gonna laugh when I'm gonna say I'd rather send Garver up there, because at least you have a better chance of running into one. You're late in the game. Like, who's more likely to hit a home run, Garver or Rivas or Masterboni? Garver is. So if you're gonna do it late in the game, like, I just then leave Masterboni in over Rivas, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, if you're gonna do it, at least get someone up there that can, hey, worse. I mean, not that I think Garver would hit a home run here, but at least it's more of a possible. Watch Rivas hit a home run now.
Oh, you better be right about that. That will make a heck of a YouTube clip for that. And now the pitch. Oh, that nearly got him. And that is going to be ball 1.
Dude, put that jersey out there, Leo. Let that hit you, my man.
On deck is going to be Ben Williamson and JP Crawford, who hasn't really amounted to much, as we're at 0-1. And I just realized I got the bullpen pitcher, hence why all these changes. The pitch. And that is low, and that kind of nearly got away, hit the dirt, but Dylan Moore can't get anywhere.
Settle down there, Kirk. Like, geez, he was all like throwing the mask there, and like it was Game 7 of the World Series.
And I can understand why Dylan Moore's not stealing, is because you don't steal on a lefty.
Well, and Willie Mays,
and Willie Mays Hayes will attest to that, because he was picked off by a lefty by the New York Yankees, because Clu Haywood said, hey, it's kind of nice to steal with your shoelace untied, and he fell for it.
And plus his run, you want to get that run in, but right now, late in the game, you just don't want to give up outs on the bases.
Up high for a ball, and I want to look at Leo Rivas' stats. I'm really curious what his stats really are. I think I'm going to guess he is like a 150 hitter with like a 340 on base percentage. The pitch, and that's going to be a strike. I mean, I would have called red light, but not giving it to him. Yeah, not green lighting on Rivas on that. Leo Rivas is I was actually accurate. He's batting 125 with a 364 OBP. The pitch. Now here's a fly ball to left field. Runner's still going back, and
I thought for a second.
I thought so too, and that's going to be 2 outs.
I was like, oh my gosh, he did it.
So we're going to call does the marine layer exist when the Mariners are playing, I guess.
And I think the roof's closed, so
Yeah. And you know I'm one of those guys that doesn't like using the T-Mobile Park. I call it victimization. I don't like it. That's just me. Because the ironic thing is Mariners win their games at home anyway.
yeah, they're a better home team than last year. Their
Yeah.
at least at home was 98 wins. So
The
and
best
again, the
way to
bats have been
describe
better
that.
this year, so can't really complain
Oh,
too much.
and we got a relief pitcher coming, another relief pitcher. I mean, but what I can say is the best way to describe that article that was written out, it was a really big, well-crafted one. It basically was saying Mariners aren't doing squat in the offseason. Let's find another way to get them attention. That's what it basically was, because there was nothing going on. So they had to talk about T-Mobile Park because that always gets attention.
Yeah, I don't really get all the T-Mobile discussion. Like, it's just, it's a pitcher's park. Like, I mean, every team's playing every game in the same park. I mean, not, you know what I mean? When you're playing the Mariners in T-Mobile, both teams are in the same park. It's like a golf course. When players complain about the golf course, it's like everybody's playing the same course out there.
The same thing. And
I mean, you can move the fence in, then other teams have a better chance too. So I mean, now I do understand, like, guys may not have the same offensive numbers. Like, if you played half your games in Cincinnati versus Seattle, clearly you're going to probably have better numbers in Cincinnati. But, like, I don't think it's, it's the park. It is what it is. It's,
that's
and the Mariners, like you said, we're good at home. So
it leads me to believe that, because Jack Zarinsek was going with that live and die by the home run philosophy, and Jared Dipoto does it too. So it makes me think that they still think that the Kingdome exists, because if you put this team in the Kingdome, sure, they'll hit the ball just fine. But Mariners, somehow going forward, they got to find ways to get bats that don't care about T-Mobile Park, that can still do it. Like, I think Ben Williamson has potential to make it work in T-Mobile Park because he's not dependent on home runs. If they say that he's like a Josh Rojas type, but if he could be a better version of it, I won't complain about that.
let's see what he can do here.
You got Chad Green going up against the Ben Williamson, the rookie. And now the pitch. And a big swing and a miss. And he was trying to do it. He was trying to do exactly what we want him to do. Especially with two outs.
Get on here and give JP a shot.
Fielded into double play. FIDP. Didn't even think of that. As we're looking at the 0-1, the pitch. And that is a foul ball. And you kind of thought for a second that was going to be a good hit.
I did too. I thought that might kind of go right over the second baseman's head. And
the hidden ball trick, I heard that you have to inform the umpire if you're going to do something like that. I don't know. As we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. And that was a pitch out, and that is going to be a 1-2. I mean, the only, I guess, legal hidden ball trick that I can remember that wasn't informed to the umpire, as we are waiting on a 1-2. And now here's the pitch. Runner goes, and that is going to be a ball throw to second, and not in time. And Dylan Moore gets that stolen base.
Well, base
now
hit.
You got a runner in scoring position, tying run at the home plate. So what I was saying was the hidden ball trick without informing the umpire, I think, was Todd Helton. It was a pickoff throw. He caught it. I mean, yeah, of course, Todd Helton. Then he faked through the ball. He noticed the runner was off the bag, and he tagged him. But I don't know if you would call that a hidden ball trick. That was probably more of a simple trick. And now the 2-2. And now here's a grounder. You better run your butt off on that. Fielded by Bichette. Throw to first, and that is in time. And that is going to retire the side. We got stretch time. Jay trying gets to hear my goodbye song for you, and I guess in some way. But take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame because so many bad base running. 4, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. And now Louie.
There
Wait
we
for
go.
it. Pop, pop, pop.
And your sound went out.
Pop, pop,
There it
pop,
is.
pop, 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 low. Oh no, said we gotta go. Yeah. Said Louie. Oh, they said we gotta go.
Boom,
A
boom,
fine
boom, boom.
little girl, she waiting for me to catch up across the state. All right, Jay, you can go now.
I do appreciate the send off. Thanks for having me on as always, and hopefully me leaving sparks a rally here. So have a good night, everybody. Rooftop, thanks for having me as always, man. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You too. Get the W for us. Finish it strong.
Let's get the W. And that was Jay Trident Podcast. Appreciate the time. And Mariners didn't really give much to work with all my YouTube shorts that I want to do. And you know what? Speaking of, I need a 30-second break. Didn't even think about that. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. All right, and we are back. Looks like we are back from the break. And now, is Brian Wu still pitching? I guess he's still pitching. He is pitching into the 7th inning, 85 pitches, because, I mean, the bullpen is just absolutely taxed. But it's been the offense that hasn't been doing much because of bad base running. And now the 1-0 pitch to Bichette, and that's going to be outside for a ball. And just so you know, right after this game, I actually do got to go right after this. And now we are at 2-0, and now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball, and that is fouled. And also, I don't mean to say it, but I'm going to say this. My goal for the donations is $50, so let's make that happen. That will certainly help me get to the 100 goal. Defensive change, we've got Dylan Moore at right field, Leo Rivas at second, and Donovan Solano at first. And now the 2-1 pitch. And that's going to be a 3-1. That was way inside. And now we got a 3-1 count. And now we are looking at the pitch to Bo Bichette. And there is a blooper, and that's actually going to be caught by Dylan Moore. And he makes the catch, and that is going to be 1 out. And now we're looking at the next hitter. I think it's going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And now the pitch. And that is going to be inside for a ball. And now the pitch. And that's going to be foul ball again. And now the 1-1. Now here's a ground ball. Diving stop by Ben Williamson. Throw over the first. And that is in time. Excellent defensive play by Ben Williamson. Robbing of a base hit. Great play by Williamson. He bobbled it for a moment, but it was a great play. Now, Wu is still in. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. John Stanton by far. At least Dan Snyder actually spends money. I'll take Dan Schneider. Yeah, sure, Dan Schneider's a snake, but at least he cares. He cared to spend the money. The 0-1, he was cheap on his field, though. And that's going to be a swing and a miss to Anthony Santander. We're already at 2 outs, by the way. But you would think that this is going to be the last inning for Brian Wu. But it's not like he's really lost much. I wonder if they're going to give him one more inning if he does get out of this inning quick. But usually you don't cross 100 pitches. 170 quality starts since 2023. The pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Mariners are the most confusing team in world. Good for first week and then suck rest of the year. Yep. Jerry Jones, I wouldn't give that to him. At least he still cares about the team. He's just weird. And now the 0-2 pitch. And that is outside for a ball. Still looking at it. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. Brian Wu has actually been pitching pretty well in this outing. And we're at 97 pitches, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. Mariners are severely running out of time. I mean, but Jerry Jones was also kind of the reason the Cowboys did win the Super Bowl, though. It's just like he really messed up with Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. And many things that he messed up on. So there's that. Yeah, Wu's saving the bullpen, so that's what it's all about. So you got to give it to Brian. Give Brian Wu a lot of credit, even though he did pitch pretty shaky, where he did allow pretty easy hits by the Blue Jays. But at the same time, Mariners, when you only score 1 run, you have nobody but to blame but yourself. I mean, you can't really expect perfect pitching out of Brian Wu every single game, even though he hasn't been as good as what we remembered from last season. Yeah, I couldn't admit that Jimmy Johnson. That is why they won, so he fired him. Yep. Jimmy Johnson had a huge part of that. And then he fired him. It's a shame that the Cowboys dynasty actually ended sooner than it should have. I mean, even with Barry Switzer, but somehow Jerry Jones screwed that up too. And Barry Switzer hasn't coached in the NFL since. Guess he was burned out by the Cowboys. Still on the commercial break at the moment. And we are back from the break. Even then, Barry was basically handed Johnson's team, was given an easy chance to win. Yeah, for the 1995-1996 season, that was. And now here's J.P. Crawford, and we got Garcia. And now here's a fly ball to center field. Springer is going to be there, and he makes the catch, and that's going to be 1 out. I wonder if that's Yimi Garcia. That is Yimi Garcia, the former Mariner, who was traded to the Mariners for Jonathan Clase, and the Mariners didn't even bother giving him an extension. And now, basically, the Mariners traded away Jonathan Clase for nothing. And you think so, Josh, don't you, about the Cowboys? Now we got Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. Mariners are severely running out of time. Mariners' last 7 games are 6-1. Keep it going, the pitch. And that is low for a ball. We're looking at 1-0 so far for Julio Rodriguez. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball again. And that is going to be a 2-0 count. Julio's actually ahead of the count right now. And now the pitch again. And that's going to be popped up and foul ball well out of play. And we'll try this again. And now we are looking at 2-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled again. Julio Rodriguez, most WAR among center fielders first 3 seasons. He's actually up there with Mike Trout, Joe DiMaggio, and he's actually surpassed Ken Griffey Jr., believe it or not. Didn't even think of that. And now the 2-2 pitch inside, and I think that got him. Now he's going to first base, and you know what? Unfortunately, as much as that hurts, this is probably the only way the Mariners can produce any kind of offense is hit by the pitch. I hate to say it, but it's unfortunately kind of effing true. Yep, he really took it right in the left shoulder. Hopefully he's okay, though. But aside from that, Mariners can move on and try to get something going. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. We're at 1-0. And now the runner goes. And a swing and a miss and a throw to second. And not in time is Julio Rodriguez. And now you got runner in scoring position. And you got the tying run at the plate. And I hate to admit that since I'm a Houston fan and we hate Dallas. Yeah, of course. Use that Biggio energy as he holds the modern record for most hit by the pitch. And looks like, are they going to review that? That might be reviewable, as that may have tagged him in the ass. And I wonder if they're going to review that call. I wonder if they are challenging the call. And it looks like they are challenging that call. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but that was actually a good call by the manager, and they are reviewing it. And this is where it could hurt. And it does look like it is reversible. Yep. Yeah, he got him. Yeah, he's out by a mile. Oh, boy. Just to think that this Mariners have been death by bad base running. I mean, I didn't blame Julio for doing it. He just didn't get there. And they're definitely going to call him out. There's no way that there's not enough evidence for Julio to be safe. I wonder if they're going to make that whenever. It's just a matter of time they make that call. Andy Fletcher making the call. Julio Rodriguez is out, and now that's going to be 2 outs for the Mariners. No surprise whatsoever. Yep, you knew that it was out. It's just the bad base running is what's cost this team. And now all you can do is, I think if you're Polanco, just try to jack one out there, because what do you got to lose? And now the pitch outside for a ball. Julio visibly frustrated. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball, 3-1. Video title should be bad base running game. Yeah, but it's not going to get anyone's attention, really. But it has been a bad base running game for the Mariners. Now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball center field, but Springer is going to be right there. And he makes the catch, and that is going to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Mariners severely running out of time.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
Hope Julio figures out at some point, hopefully soon. Yeah, I agree. Like, Julio Rodriguez is clearly not at the level where he should be. Like, he should be at the same level as Bobby Witt Jr., if not better. But Julio just hasn't figured it out. And I don't know when he's going to figure it out, but he's got to figure it out soon. Also, good news. I intend to be at the Mariners game tomorrow, like as in covering the game. And I also intend to be there for Sunday, for Easter Sunday. So there will be plenty of opportunities to help me out in my channel. Not only give me the views, but also give me donations to help me get to my $50 goal. Alexa, turn on the lights.
Okay.
And we are back from the break. And this game has been going on pretty fast. It's at 2 hours and 17 minutes so far. Still have people on my show. Do appreciate the engagement and the chats. You guys have really helped me a lot. Without you guys, there is no channel. That's all I'm going to say. And now we got Casey Lawrence up on the mound. And that's a strike. And yep, that is it for Brian Wu. I think they're treating it as a throwaway game at this point because the offense is just doing absolutely nothing. If the Mariners and the money line is turned off, now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball to Casey Lawrence. Does he have enough time to throw to first? And that will be in time for the first out of this inning. Happened in just 2 pitches, luckily. Brian Wu had a pretty shaky game, but he kind of settled down into the later parts of the game. But unfortunately, he gave up 3 runs, but it's not like all of it was his fault. It was just good heads-up running by George Springer and just many other things. And Casey Lawrence has a lot of stuff. That's why he's on this team probably. He's just got to work on them. And now the pitch. This is to George Springer, and that is a strike. George Springer, one of the premier parts of the Blue Jays offense. He's played very well, got a single and double and scored twice. And now the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. And now the pitch again. And now here's a fly ball popped up, and he knew it. And that's going to be Dylan Moore to make the catch to make it 2 outs. And a lot of bad base running been going on in this game. And that's going to be a strike. It was Cal Raleigh going to second base. Then you had Randy Arozarena. There's a lot of things that just didn't go right. And now the 0-1. And that's going to be low for a ball. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball right to the second baseman, Leo Rivas. Toss over the first, and that is in time. And it's going to be the last try for the Mariners. It's going to be the next three hitters. I think it's going to be Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena, and Luke Raley. And last time, don't forget, in the 9th inning, the Mariners actually did do it. They did pull it off where they... Oh, wow. You bet $20 on this game, you get 67 cents. Not even worth a squat. But if the Mariners do take the lead, I'll make a bet. As we are at 8 so far. 8 viewers. I've had 68 views in this show. Northwest Sports Fanatics has 19 viewers, so it's been a pretty slow day for him, I guess. Like, 19 is considered slow for him, in my opinion. I mean, but he does better than me, so I can't really say too much. Like, he makes a living off of it. Still going on. The commercials are. And we are back from the break, and this is the last try for the Mariners. You gotta like those City Connect jerseys for Toronto. I actually do like the jerseys. Actually pretty cool. We got Jeff Hoffman. He's on my fantasy baseball team, so if he'll get a save. If he gets a save, that means I get a save out of it. So I guess I get some kind of winnings. Not emotionally, though, because Mariners would lose. And now the pitch. And that is inside for a ball. As we got Cal Raleigh, he's batting .221, and now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up, and that's not going to do anything. Third baseman is there. And he makes the catch, and that is going to be 1 out. Mariners severely running out of time. Screw it. I'm just gonna risk the entire $20, and doesn't even get me. Doesn't even cover the winnings. So not even worth it, they say, because it doesn't even get you one. Yeah. Wow. Defensive alignments. George Springer is now at right field. Now here is Randy Arozarena. And now the pitch. And he steps back. And that is a strike. That was really stupid to do. And that's going to be an 0-1 count on Randy Arozarena. Mariners running out of time. They got to do something. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. 0-2. And you just don't see it happening. Yesterday, he did hit the game-tying home run. I don't know. Now we're going for next pitch, and here it is. Low for a ball. Thank God he didn't even swing at that. And that is going to be ball 1. Luis Castillo will be the pitcher tomorrow, so maybe a better chance for the Mariners. You never know. And now the 1-2 up high for a ball. That's going to be 2-2 for Randy Arozarena. Now the 2-2 up high for a ball. Now it's 3-2. Randy Arozarena has actually been working the count. Now we're at 3-2. As Hoffman's ready, and now here's the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. He had to swing at that. He had to. Now we're at 3-2 for Randy Arozarena. And now the 3-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is going to be 2 outs. Mariners are down to that final out. And next hitter is going to be Dylan Moore. It's going to be up to him to keep this extending. But when you're at 2 outs and your offense has been playing like this, you're not expecting a victory out of this. Yep, Arozarena badly swung at that one. Now here's Dylan Moore to the plate, and that's going to be popped up and fouled. It's the idea that you're just fouling off of these easy fastballs. Yeah, it's a 98, but you still should be hitting them. Dylan Moore walked and got a stolen base, batting .333 this season. One of the best hitters on the team so far. It's pretty embarrassing to say. And now the 0-1, and that is going to be outside for a ball. And that is going to be a 1-1 count on Dylan Moore. As now we're at 1-1. And now we'll try this again. The 1-1. And that is going to be a ball. 2-1 for Dylan Moore. This game went along pretty quickly as we are at 2-1. And now the pitch. And that's a swing and a miss, foul tip. And that is game time so far. Mariners have been very disappointing today. They had really costly base running decisions that arguably cost the game. The game should be tied. Blue Jays took care of business with brilliant base running by George Springer. He basically carried this team. And now it's on to this. It is a 2-2 count. You got Hoffman on 13 pitches. Dylan Moore at the plate, looking at a 2-2 count so far. And this could be it. Fans are up on their feet. And now Hoffman is ready. I think he's got what he wants. And the 2-2 pitch, and that's going to be popped up and fouled. And we will try this again. I don't know what Dylan Moore has left in the tank, but you would think mentally it's not good since you're down 3-1. Camera panning to Dan Wilson. And now we're at 2-2. And now here's the 2-2 pitch. And check swing, he does not go. That's a full count, 3-2. And got to look at who's on the lineup. On deck is going to be Donovan Solano. He will be the hitter if Dylan Moore stays alive. We will try this again. And time's been called by Dylan Moore. I don't think he should have called time. I think he should have let that clock run. But we will keep trying this again. Donovan Solano on deck. And we're at 3-2. And now here is going to be the 3-2 pitch. And that is popped up again. And Dylan Moore still fighting it off. Still trying to give the Mariners breathing room before they go into tomorrow with possibly a loss. It's been a very frustrating game for the Mariners. So many bad base running decisions. Half of his pitches have been fastballs. Sinker and sliders have been the other. And now we're at 3-2. Try this again. And the 3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Mariners, with their bad base running, cost them this game to lose 3-1. And the Toronto Blue Jays take game 1 of this 3-game series. And congratulations to them, especially George Springer. I would give him the player of the game. But the Mariners, they have got to get some good sleep and come back for tomorrow to rebound themselves and get them back into their winning ways. And you definitely now have to win the last 2 games, or else you're just going to go into Boston where you'll get your ass kicked So I'm going to say this is it. I'm taking off. I'm not getting much engagement. It's really just Josh doing the talking. But I just want to say thank you very much for being on this show. Thank you for being part of my 13th game. I'm planning to be there tomorrow. We'll confirm by the morning. And everyone, thank you for being here and painfully saying, Go Mariners.